One day, an 8-year-old girl set off on her first bus ride out of the village. She had always lived in the small, familiar place she called home, and today was different. She was about to see the world beyond. As the bus rumbled along, she noticed things she hadn't before. Little by little, she began to understand something bigger, something mysterious, the idea of life and death. She realized that while everyone knew death existed, understanding it was something else entirely. This journey would change how she saw the world and open her eyes to its deeper mysteries. Hello everyone. Today, we're going to dive into the story Madam Rides the Bus, written by Vallikkannan, which is part of your Class 10 English syllabus. But before we begin, if you enjoy this explanation, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Your support motivates me to keep bringing you all the notes and tips you need for your exams. Alright, let's not waste any time, let's get started. Valli was an 8-year-old girl who loved to watch the street from the front door of her house. Since there were no other children her age to play with, this became her favorite thing to do. One of the most exciting things she saw was the bus that passed by every day, traveling to and from the nearby town. She watched it closely, and soon a strong desire grew inside her. She wanted to ride that bus, just once. Every day, her wish to ride the bus grew bigger. She often felt jealous when her friends talked about the town, and would shout, "Proud, proud," even though she didn't fully know what it meant. She listened to the adults talk about the bus and asked them questions to learn more. She found out that the town was 6 miles away, the bus fare was 30 paise, and the ride took 45 minutes. Valli imagined how fun it would be to travel on the bus and began to make plans to make her dream come true. One sunny day, just as the afternoon bus was about to leave the village, Valli ran out yelling, "Stop the bus! Stop the bus!" She waved her small hand to catch the driver's eye. The bus stopped, and the conductor, surprised, told her to hurry and get on. Valli, feeling proud, said she was going to the town and showed him her money. The conductor joked, calling her Madam, and offered to help her onto the bus, but Valli refused and got on by herself. The passengers on the bus laughed and watched her, but Valli, feeling shy, quickly found an empty seat. As the bus started moving, Valli was amazed by everything around her. The bus was new, with shiny silver bars and a nice clock. When she looked outside, she saw the beautiful scenery, palm trees, fields, and mountains. But then, an old man told her to sit down for her safety. Valli, annoyed, said she was not a child and had paid her fare like everyone else. The conductor, still joking, called her a madam and gave her a ticket. Even though she was told to sit down, Valli stood up on the seat to get a better view. Later, an old woman sat next to her and asked if she was traveling alone. Valli didn't like the woman's big earrings and the smell of betel nut. The woman asked more questions about Valli's trip, but Valli didn't want to talk to her. She answered briefly, saying she could take care of herself, and turned back to the window. Valli saved 60 paise for her bus ride by not buying toys or treats. After collecting enough money, she figured out how to sneak out while her mother was sleeping. She used this time to go on her first adventure outside the village. On the bus, Valli enjoyed the sights and laughed when the bus slowed down for a cow that ran in front of it. The conductor joked with her, and she enjoyed watching the bus pass through the busy streets and shops in town. When the bus reached the town, the conductor asked if she was getting off, but Valli decided to stay on and return home. She paid another 30 paise for the return trip and refused when the conductor offered to buy her a drink. She just wanted to go back home on the bus. As the bus headed back, the conductor asked if Valli's mother would be looking for her. Valli replied that no one would. She was still excited by the journey and enjoyed the sights, but suddenly, she saw the same cow that had run in front of the bus earlier, now lying dead by the roadside. The sight of the dead cow saddened Valli. The cow, once lively and charming, now looked frightening and lifeless, which dampened her spirits. She no longer felt like looking out the window. The bus finally returned to the village, and Valli got off, telling the conductor she hoped to see him again. He smiled and invited her back anytime. When Valli returned home, her mother and aunt were talking. Her aunt casually asked where she had been, but Valli just smiled and didn't respond. As her mother continued the conversation, Valli agreed with her statement about how many things in life we don't fully understand. Her aunt teased her, calling her a little grown-up, but Valli smiled quietly, knowing they didn't understand her thoughts. As Valli returned from her journey, she began to understand a few important things. She realized that life is not just about happiness and excitement, it also includes sadness and loss. Seeing the dead cow made her understand that death is a part of life, something she had never fully grasped before. Through this trip, Valli also discovered her own independence. She had saved up money, planned the trip carefully, and traveled alone, proving to herself that she could handle things on her own. By the end of the ride, Valli felt more grown up. She knew that life was more complex than she had thought, and she began to understand the balance of joy and sorrow, independence and care, all of which helped her grow as a person. That brings us to the end of our discussion on Madam Rides the Bus. I hope you all understood Valli's journey and the lessons she learned along the way. Remember, every experience, whether happy or sad, teaches us something valuable. Keep reflecting on what you learn from the world around you. Now, let's look at the question and answers from this chapter. Here are the answers to your questions from the chapter Madam Rides the Bus. First question. What was Valli's favorite pastime? Valli's favorite pastime was standing at the front door of her house, watching everything happening on the street. Since she didn't have any children her age to play with, this became her favorite way to pass the time. Next question. What was a source of unending joy for Valli? What was her strongest desire? The bus that passed by her house every day was a source of unending joy for Valli. Her strongest desire was to ride that bus, at least once, to experience the excitement of traveling to the nearby town. Next question. What did Valli find out about the bus journey? How did she find out these details? Valli found out several things about the bus journey. She learned that the town was 6 miles away, the fare was 30 paise one way, and the journey would take about 45 minutes. She found this out by listening to the conversations of the adults around her and by asking a few questions. Next question. What do you think Valli was planning to do? Valli was planning to save enough money to pay for the bus fare and then secretly go on the bus ride to the town. She wanted to experience the journey for herself, and she was determined to make her dream come true. Next question. Why does the conductor call Valli Madam? The conductor calls Valli Madam because he is surprised that a young girl like her is traveling alone. He thinks it's funny that she is acting so grown up, so he teases her by calling her Madam. Next question. Why does Valli stand up on the seat? What does she see now? Valli stands up on the seat to see outside better. When she stands up, she sees the beautiful palm trees, fields, mountains, and sky. She enjoys the view a lot. Next question. What does Valli tell the elderly man when he calls her a child? When the old man calls her a child, Valli tells him that she is not a child. She says she paid for her ticket and can take care of herself. Next question. Why didn't Valli want to make friends with the elderly woman? Valli didn't want to make friends with the elderly woman because she didn't like her. The woman had big earrings and a bad smell from chewing betel nut. Valli didn't enjoy talking to her and just wanted to enjoy the ride. Next. How did Valli save up money for her first journey? Was it easy for her? Valli saved money by being careful and not spending on unnecessary things. It was difficult, but she was determined to save enough for the bus ride. Next. What did Valli see on her way that made her laugh? Valli laughed when she saw a cow running in front of the bus, and no matter how much the driver honked, the cow kept running ahead. Next. Why didn't she get off the bus at the bus station? Valli didn't get off at the bus station because she just wanted to enjoy the bus ride, not explore the town by herself. Next. Why didn't Valli want to go to the stall and have a drink? What does this tell you about her? Valli didn't want a free drink because she didn't have enough money. This shows she was independent and didn't want to accept things without paying for them. Next, what was Valli's deepest desire? Valli's deepest desire was to ride the bus to the town. Next, how did Valli plan her bus ride? She saved 30 paise by giving up treats and learned the bus fare and travel time. Next, what kind of person is Valli? To answer this question, pick out the following sentences from the text and fill in the blanks. Stop the bus. Stop the bus. And a tiny hand was raised commandingly. This shows that Valli is bold and confident, even though she is a small girl. Yes, I simply go to town, said Valli, still standing outside the bus. This shows her excitement and determination to visit the town. There's nobody here who's a child. I've paid my 30 paise like everyone else, she said haughtily. This shows she feels proud and wants to be treated like an adult. Never mind, she said. I can get on by myself. You don't have to help me. I'm not a child, I tell you, she said haughtily. This shows Valli's independence and that she doesn't like being treated like a little kid. You needn't bother about me. I can take care of myself, Valli said, turning her face toward the window and staring out. This shows that she is self-reliant and doesn't want others to interfere with her experience. Then she turned to the conductor and said, "Well, sir, I hope to see you again." This shows Valli is polite and thankful for the enjoyable bus ride. Next, why does the conductor refer to Valli as Madam? The conductor calls Valli Madam because she acts confidently, like an adult, and wants to handle everything herself. Next, find the lines in the text which tell you that Valli was enjoying her ride on the bus. Valli was enjoying the ride because she was amazed by what she saw, wasn't bored, and laughed so much that she had tears in her eyes. Next, why does Valli refuse to look out of the window on her way back? She refuses to look out of the window after seeing the dead cow because it made her feel sad. Next, what does Valli mean when she says, "I was just agreeing with what you said about things happening without our knowledge"? Valli is agreeing with her mother that many things happen in the world that we don't know or understand. Next, the author describes the things that Valli sees from an 8-year-old's point of view. Can you find evidence from the text for this statement? Yes, Valli's excitement and curiosity are shown when she finds the bus ride amazing, laughs at the cow running in front of the bus, and is fascinated by the bright shops in the town. This shows how an 8-year-old would see and react to new experiences. Now, we will be focusing on some key extract-based questions from the story Madam Rides the Bus. These types of questions help us understand the deeper meaning behind the characters' actions and the lessons they learn in the story. Make sure to listen carefully, as each extract we discuss will give you valuable insights into the main character, Valli, and her journey. Number 1. Stop the bus. Stop the bus. And a tiny hand was raised commandingly. Who said this? Valli said this. To whom was it said? Valli said this to the bus driver. Why was this said? Valli wanted the bus to stop so she could get on it for her journey to the town. What does this show about the speaker's character? This shows that Valli is confident and determined. Even though she is a young girl, she knows what she wants and is not afraid to ask for it. Next question. Yes, I simply go to town, said Valli, still standing outside the bus. Who said this? Valli said this. What does this tell us about Valli's determination? This shows that Valli is determined to go to the town by herself and is very confident in her decision. She knows she can handle the journey. Why is she standing outside the bus while saying this? She is standing outside the bus because she has just requested the driver to stop and is about to get on the bus for her journey. Next. There's nobody here who's a child. I've paid my 30 paise like everyone else. Who said this? Valli said this. To whom was it said? Valli said this to the conductor. What does this statement tell us about Valli's self-confidence? This shows that Valli is very confident and does not want to be treated like a child. She has paid the fare just like any adult passenger and expects to be treated equally. Next. Never mind, she said. I can get on by myself. You don't have to help me. Who said this? Valli said this. To whom was it said? Valli said this to the conductor. Why does Valli say this? Valli says this because she wants to show that she can manage on her own. She doesn't want to be helped, as she feels capable and independent. What does this show about her independence? This shows that Valli is independent, confident, and doesn't want to depend on others for help. She is mature beyond her age. Next. I'm not a child, I tell you, she said haughtily. Who said this? Valli said this. Why did Valli say this? Valli says this because she wants to assert that she is not a child and can take care of herself. She doesn't want to be treated like one. What does it show about her attitude? It shows that Valli has a strong sense of independence and maturity. She is proud and wants to be treated like an adult, even though she is still a young girl. Number 6. You needn't bother about me. I can take care of myself, Valli said, turning her face toward the window and staring out. Who said this? Valli said this. What is Valli's attitude towards others' concern? Valli doesn't want others to worry about her. She wants to handle things on her own and feels capable of doing so. What does this line show about her nature? This line shows that Valli is self-reliant, independent, and enjoys being in control of her own situation. Moving on. Question number 7. Well, sir, I hope to see you again. Who said this? Valli said this. To whom was it said? Valli said this to the conductor. Why did Valli say this? Valli says this as a polite way of ending their interaction. She has enjoyed the bus ride and is expressing her hope to take another trip in the future. Here are multiple choice questions, MCQs, based on the story, Madam Rides the Bus. They will help you analyze the text closely, pay attention to the details, and reinforce what you've learned. That brings us to the end of today's class. We explored the story of young Valli, her curiosity, determination, and her exciting journey on the bus. Through her experiences, we learned the importance of being observant, asking questions, and following our dreams with confidence and careful planning. Before we leave, take a moment to think about one thing you've learned from Valli's story that you can apply in your own life. Maybe it's her bravery, her independence, or her sense of adventure. Thank you all for your wonderful participation and thoughts today. For homework, reflect on a time when you worked hard to achieve something you really wanted, just like Valli, and be ready to share it in the next class. Take care, stay curious, and see you all next time.